Right, I spoke to you both in the dressing room. And all I expect, outlaw professors at all times, obey my instructions, watch your heads, keep it clean. Any questions? Let's go to work.
One of the cleverest fighters around right now, Sonny Edwards, 23 years old. He'd wanted a British title fight. It didn't work out. I don't think there were too many who were exactly queuing up to fight him, because he does have an ability to make even the very best look very ordinary. Iran Gallardo from Mexico, as Thomas Treiber, the Master of Ceremonies, introduced him, has never been stopped. And although he's a little bit more upright, he's slightly the taller man in there, a little bit more upright than some Mexican fighters. He, I think you can expect, will be very game indeed.
And that might potentially cause a problem for someone like Edwards, because what he does, he takes your soul, Sonny Edwards, makes you miss, makes you pay, and he demoralises you, so then you almost not quite give up, but and any sort of ambition you have to want to be aggressive, he takes it away from you. But Mexicans traditionally won't be deterred. They will carry on fighting, and that potentially could cause a problem for Edwards.
Sonny Edwards' brother, of course, Charlie, the WBC flyweight champion. He's in the corner giving his advice, just behind trainer Grant Smith from the Steel City Gym in Sheffield. Talk about Sonny Edwards fighting Jay Harris, the European champion, the Swansea lad.
Great little fight.
Be a good fight somewhere really down the line, wouldn't it, if that happened?
I was at Harris's last fight when he won the European title, and he was absolutely phenomenal, really was.
Popular lad down there in your part of the world, Swansea.
Yeah, he is. I'm a Cardiff boy, John.
I beg your pardon.
I'm not gonna bite.
Nice bright opening from Edwards, as you would have anticipated. Currently ranked number 5 by the WBO, 13 by the IBF, but if he wins that, or wins this rather, he'll be up into the top 10.
Oh, it's nice, lovely right hand there from Edwards. Again, it was the footwork. He's just so fleet-footed, but not so much dancing round so much. The way he gets in close. He almost like glides in, like he's almost his feet not touching the floor. Just he's in before you know it. There's no little tell with his footwork when he's going to move.
I asked Sonny earlier this week, of these wins so far, which one did you enjoy the most? Did you take the most out of? And he went straight away, unhesitatingly, for his win against Ryan Farrig.
Yeah, well, I was there that night as well, to be honest. And it was a real step up for him, and he just boxed out of his skin. He was punch perfect, and the movement again was what did it. The movement just confuses the fighters, and it just takes everything away from him, drains him of their energy.
And on BT we commentated when he fought Junior Granados, the Mexican who had that fantastic fight against Jamie Conlan a year or two back, and Granados clipped Edwards, put him down, didn't he?
Yeah.
But I think that was about the only punch he landed.
He did, and it was a fleeting punch as well, wasn't it? It wasn't a heavy knockdown. Not far off there with that left hook there, Edwards. Again, typical Edwards start there, mobile on his feet, picking his shots.
Yeah, it's a
not taking nothing back.
Nice smooth start from Sonny Edwards, and the first round in the bag. Welcome back to the O2, where our first fight for you tonight is Sonny Edwards against Iran Gallardo. And here is Sonny Edwards, undefeated tonight in his 12th professional fight. And this is the vacant IBF International Super Flyweight title. Boxed really nicely in that opening round. And as ever, fleet-footed, accurate, got such good balance.
He has it, he uses all of the ring, but never runs. So he's always moving around the target, and then he gives himself a bit of space, whether to draw you on or just to look for another attack.
He's aware he's not a big puncher, Sonny Edwards. I mean, there are people who go in there and just spark people with one shot, and he knows he's not one of those. But be a puncher in fights.
No, but he might be able to punch. The fact is, he's always on the balls of his feet because the movement's so important for his style that he doesn't plant his feet enough most of the time to see if he can punch. It's be interesting as he goes along, whether he or gets more confidence. I was going to say gets more confidence. He's as confident as you could ever find in a boxer, but whether he starts to plant up the levels, or as the round goes on with certain fighters.
It's been talking about fancying a contest against the MTK lad, Mohammad Wasim, the Pakistani who lost an IBF flyweight title challenge. That's the division up from where he is. Down from where he is, against the South African Maruti Antaloni. I think that was last year. He's been calling out Charlie, his brother, and Sonny's said if he wants to fight, I'm only too happy to oblige.
It's good.
A lovely little right-hand counter, Barry.
But on the move back as well, that's the beauty of it. Really clever. Really good reactions. And I think, I think they go in with a plan, but I think it must be so fluid, their plan, because he's such off the cuff, isn't he?
Well, the knockdown given. I'm surprised about.
Harsh.
And Gallardo saying, for what? Well, it'd be interesting to see that one again.
Well, the thing is, if you lose your balance, but you've been clipped on, if you've been slightly clipped, then he has to give it. But I didn't really see too much there. It was maybe a tad unlucky.
Given as a knockdown, so you'd assume that if Edwards wins the round, it's going to be a 10-8er, which at an early stage in the contest puts him firmly in control.
A 10-8er? No, in Yorkshire, no, John.
Very much sees himself as part of the Sheffield scene now. Sonny Edwards went to Hallam University and of course was involved in the GB squad up there. Good city, Barry. Ever been up there?
It's a fantastic place, John. He's boxing well here. Nice and relaxed, as you would expect here. Nice.
Well, that's another beautiful round for Sonny Edwards. Here at the O2 Arena, Sonny Edwards, 2 rounds into the fight, already has a knockdown to his name. Well, the referee gave it there. He was off balance and he caught him almost a drag with the inside of the glove.
From that angle, you can sort of see it looks like a bit of a pushover, but you can see from where he is, he's obviously behind Edwards. He sees the shot land and gives it, so you can understand why.
Well, whatever, that's going to go down on the cards as a 10-8.
It is, yeah, I think he's a little bit unlucky, but you can understand why the referee gave it for that.
So third round. This one scheduled to go 10, and there you see already on Barry's card a 3-point advantage for Edwards. It's sometimes a bit invidious to compare siblings. The Klitschko's famously said they'd never fight. But when you see Sonny and Charlie, how do you rate them side by side, Barry?
Difficult. Well, Charlie's a world champion, so he stands above him right now. I think it looks like the more naturally gifted mate will be Sonny, but it looks like the more disciplined, possibly, is Charlie. There you go.
Great talents. And Mum sitting at ringside. She's had health problems, Mum Terry, and she's sitting not too far away from where we're commentating, in her wheelchair, and as ever, cheering on her son.
That's what he'll do here, Edwards. Just probes with the jab, flicking it out. He wants you to fire back. So he knows his feet are fast enough to just take that little skip back, make you fall short. That's when he comes back in there with that more powerful right hand. And then he moves around the target, spins really fast and fires again. But sometimes that'll take longer with other fighters than it will with a different sort of style. Some fighters engage straight away, the others will try and be a little bit more cagey.
Gallardo not finding anything to put Edwards under any sort of real pressure so far.
No, Gallardo's obviously going to be effective when you're stood in front of him firing back, and that's not going to be what Edwards will do. There's a lovely rhythm to his movement, isn't there?
Gallardo actually unbeaten in his last 7 fights coming into this. Not at this level, obviously.
It was good from Edwards just a second ago, just changed direction with his feet, then he pounced on Gallardo. I think he's going to have to force it a little bit more like that as well. force the exchanges by sort of almost holding his feet a little bit more than he would, and then skipping back out. I think the probe with the jabs might not going to work with Gallardo. He's not going to take the bait.
Edwards comfortably skipping away and making Gallardo miss again and again with attempted swings in that third round and picking up another one.
Yeah, clearly he's not boxing, he's enjoying himself, he's nice and relaxed.
Here's Joe Joyce arriving at the O2 Arena in action against Bryant Jennings later on. Joe, a huge and intimidating figure in the ring, polite and engaging outside it, but he has a relentless aggression. They call him the Juggernaut, and that's our chief supporting fight tonight. Gallardo with Rodrigo Lopez in his corner, and he needs to find something very different to what he's been able to produce so far.
Round 4.
Fourth round, it's all Sonny Edwards in the first 3.
Well, for Gallardo, the distance is all wrong for him. He's trying to sort of box with Edwards, which is not going to happen. He's got to try and push Edwards back. And I know there's a risk of walking onto shots, but Edwards is going to just take nice little steps back and hit you. But I think you have to try and get him in the corner. You've got to rush him a little bit, little feint before you come in, double that jab up, and put a bit of weight on his shots, a bit of strength, and sort of just unsettle his rhythm in any way you can. Get inside, rough him up. And all these things are easier said than done, but from the distance he is right now, it's target practice for Sonny Edwards. Case in point there.
Only with the forced, oh, that's a nice left hand from Edwards. Again, as he was seemingly in reverse gear.
And that's why we're saying he's not a puncher, and he's not. But because he never sets his feet. They're never settled. He's always looking to move in and out, and that's what the beauty of his movement, of course, is so fluent. But sometimes you've got to, and I never did it, but sometimes you've got to sit down on the canvas and and push off that back foot and get a bit of power, to generate a bit of power in your punches.
Well, he's certainly lacks nothing in confidence, Edwards. He said that he knows that he's still got a way to go, but he does also say, and as you're watching here with us and making your own decision about his style, oh, beautiful again, fast left hand, right hand as he came off the ropes. He says, I'm not a puncher, but when I get into my rhythm, I know against anybody I'm going to be really hard to beat.
And I think that's true, because what he is as well as being a good mover, he's as awkward as they come. You just see it there when he's on the ropes. Gallardo's in range to throw back, and he's trying to throw back, but Edwards sort of leans to the right, he's sort of sticks that elbow out a little bit, just really awkward to hit clean.
Interesting to see how long it is before, assuming he comes through with a win here, and all the signs are that he will do, how long before he gets into real world title contention. At last, Gallardo getting into range and landing a solid right hand into the body. This is more what the Mexican needs. Edwards being forced to fire back off the ropes.
And I think the better shot, the better left hook came off the ropes there from Edwards. Gallardo's being busy, that's the right thing, but just need to take a little step to the side.
Oh, Gallardo showing plenty of toughness, being prepared to walk through one or two to get into range.
That's nice there from Edwards.
Good footwork as well, wasn't it, as he just danced away.
Obviously Gallardo was far busier then, had some success at last, so he knows now he can get in close, but I still felt like the better shots on the ropes were from Edwards.
Well, that's Gallardo's best round of the fight so far, but did he do enough?
No, nowhere near. Not for me. For me, I think even though he had a bit of success on the ropes, he was throwing punches and he was landing, but I still think Edwards was blocking most of it, and for me, probably landed the better shots when he was under pressure. And for the rest of the round, it was all Edwards again for me. But at least Gallardo had a bit of success. I mean, yeah, but look at Edwards still on the ropes, landing those nice little uppercuts.
And you see, even slowed down there, slow motion, you can just see how difficult he is to tag.
Right, your shorts.
It's an absolute snake, isn't he? He's just so slippery.
Let's go. Yeah? He's going to start trying to come hard now. All right, so when we're there, I don't want it there. Yeah? Pick only when we're there. I don't want you there. What?
There's Charlie, brother, the WBC flyweight champion. Also trained by Grant Smith, with that lovely Sheffield accent in the corner.
And a knowledgeable man as well, Grant Smith, about the sport. There's a few trainers that get all the credit, and there's a few trainers that don't get none, and he's one of them.
Well, he's
So
one of those.
credit.
Yeah,
Alan Smith's another.
He's one of those self-effacing ones, isn't he?
Yeah.
He doesn't seek the limelight
No,
in
he does
any way.
not. No. But not all of them do. Some of them are just getting credit because they have high-profile fighters. That's the way it works, of course. But there's some fighters that go into the radar. And I think he's one. I think Alan Smith's another, and there's plenty more.
Frequently asked question, isn't it? What makes a good trainer? I guess the biggest thing is to understand your fighter.
A good fighter.
Well, and a good fighter, yeah.
I think, to be honest.
Sure. People used to say that about Angelo Dundee, didn't they? When you've got Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard, it's not a bad two, is it? Referee Marcus McDonald's had very little to do in this contest. It's been fought in a very clean and sportsmanlike manner.
Without really overcommitting here, Gallardo. He's trying to just close the gap a little bit more than he was. Because he realised in the last round what he had to do, but you've got to be faster with the movements, sharper. The footwork's got to be really fast. Quicken those feet up, because just half committing to the attacks is going to still be an easy night's work for Edwards.
Well, Edwards right now, we're in the 5th round. He's, to an extent, being able to perform in the comfort zone within what he's capable of producing.
And I thought Gallardo, he did have a little bit of success in the last round. I think that's the thing, trying to just tire Edwards out a little bit with a bit of pressure. If he can do that, and you take the legs away from Edwards, then you see how good of a fighter he really is. Because his legs are his main asset.
Gallardo not really been able to put him in any sort of trouble so far. He's still gamely coming forward. It's better. Nice left hand from the Mexican.
Good jab there as well there from the Mexican. But still, it feels like he's having a bit of success when Edwards just switches off a little bit rather than forcing it for himself.
Trying to bully his way forward again, Gallardo, in the last few seconds of this 5th round. But another round probably for Edwards. Here at the O2 Arena, it's the vacant IBF International Super Flyweight Championship, which is up for grabs. Sonny Edwards landing with that right hand against Iram Gallardo of Mexico, and Edwards, on Barry's card anyway, is now firmly in control. So into the second half of the fight. 6th round of this 10-rounder. Got a stoppage win in his last fight, which we saw on BT. Sonny Edwards put his Portuguese opponent Pedro Motos away in the 8th round. We're now into the 6th. No suggestion that Gallardo is going to succumb particularly easily right now.
I think we were talking about getting more weight on the shots. Just wonder whether he did not quite hold his feet, but just rather than take those 2 steps back he takes there, and just see it there from Edwards. where he just pivots around the target, just a little bit closer to the body of his opponent, and that might just means that his feet to be set a little bit more, and he can fire back with a bit more purchase. It's nice.
Gallardo thriving particularly on a southpaw stance.
Okay, I'll just poked his tongue out there and just sort of laughed at it. It was like there was nothing on the shot. Well, and it's probably true, but you tend to think if that's the case, then rush him. You're not worried about taking a shot to land, then try and walk through it.
Oh, it's a sweet left hand from Edwards. It's the ones that you don't see which cause the damage, and Gallardo didn't see that.
And because he moves back, he changed his stance from orthodox to southpaw as well. So he's throwing from an orthodox stance, then he's in southpaw mode straight away, and that gives him an exit out.
Gallardo corner getting excited here. They think that their man is pressing the fight and he's getting more into it. Quality work, though, you think is still coming from Edwards. And he had that knockdown, remember, in the second round.
Yeah, good left hand there from Edwards as well, just catching Gallardo coming forward.
Frank Warren flanked by two stars of the British game on the far side. Tyson Fury on his left, Josh Warrington on his right.
Shot there off the move there, Edwards.
Well, there's a desperation about Gallardo's work, but a lot of the time there just punching thin air. Another round surely for Sonny Edwards. Ticking down now towards big fight time. Nathan Gorman is now in the building. Arriving, his father behind him. Mike Jackson, one of his trainers, in front. Ricky Hatton won't be too far away, I'm sure. He'll be in the corner tonight. Gorman has looked supremely confident this week, really has.
Oh, and rightly so. I think he has more in his arsenal, it feels, or more. It seems like he has more natural ability than Dubois. It's just the power factor, but the strength factor of Dubois that makes it a really 50-50 fight.
Well, that's how Barry's got this particular fight, which is anything but 50-50. A 7-point margin for Sonny Edwards now as we move into round 7. Yeah, it's one of the... I mean, what makes the fight such a good fight, our main event tonight, is that, the opinion really is split within the people who work within the game, within fighters. You don't have to go too far to find completely diametrically opposed views, and they both have credibility.
First of all, stop using words I don't understand, John.
What, credibility?
Whatever you said, I don't know. But most importantly, I think that because it's the heavyweight division as well, I think that makes it more interesting, because that power factor comes into play. And I do think, because in any other division, this fight would be massively stacked in the favour of Gorman. He has the better movement, the better variety in his work. But because it is the heavyweight division, and Dubois, he takes a good shot and certainly can bang and strong, it makes it a very interesting contest.
Certainly does that. Looking forward to this one for weeks, and the hour is getting closer. Sonny Edwards, meanwhile, looks as though he's going to be extending his undefeated record. It was 11 on the spin before this.
It's just so hard to hit clean, and even when you catch him, he just either because he's moving back, he takes a sting out of it, or he'll dip that head a little bit forward, so he's only sort of skimming the target. And also he can fire moving backwards, which is an extremely difficult thing to do. Fire moving back.
Lives the life, Sonny Edwards. A lot of his success based on athleticism and, of course, reactions.
Yes. Trying to close the gap there, Gallardo. We're just following Edwards round. Need to take a big step with that left foot and just stop the escape route there of Edwards.
Gallardo hardly taking a backward step unless Edwards is leaning on as there. But you struggle to think of any conspicuous success that he's had.
Yeah, in this round, especially, he's been quite scrappy from both. Actually, I think Edwards hasn't. He's landed with the shots, of course. He's winning the round, but I think he's been really that clean. Just massively frustrating the Mexican right now.
Nice little combination from Edwards. Last scoring shots of another round, which surely he'll have taken on the judges' cards.
Keep that switched on. 3 rounds left. Okay. See the little step throughs? See how he's standing tall now when he's following your heart? Standing tall, and coming out. That's where you'll get the singles as well. Okay? Good lad. Yeah? Show him some fins, no, some more.
No.
Yeah? Don't forget, show him some fins, little side step sometimes, little foot fin. Okay? See how you get a reaction off it, and you got that good shot there?
My left hand.
Your left? Yeah?
Not too bad, but
Corners, 10 seconds.
Confianza.
Venga, Iran.
Seconds out, round 8.
Gallardo's going to have to knock Sonny Edwards out if he's going to win this, you would assume. Or at very least have a whole stack of knockdowns. And it's not coming.
But you never know. It takes one shot to slow the legs, maybe. He gets him with a good body shot and slows the legs out of Edwards, and then it makes it his kind of fight. But yeah, you wouldn't bet. You wouldn't bet on it right now.
Another great name of British boxing has arrived at ringside. Ricky Hatton now on the far side of the ring.
Nice little right hand there from Gallardo. That's nice, that's clever there from Edwards.
We had an interesting fight a little bit earlier on. It was a 4-round welterweight contest. An Albanian called Florian Marku made it 4 wins out of 4 against a lad from Leeds, Tommy Broadbent. And I kid you not, Marku, an undercard fight, he must have sold something like 1,000 tickets.
Tremendous atmosphere, wasn't it? Really was.
If his fight had been at York Hall, this would have been rammed.
And he had a hard night's work as well, John. But got the win.
Now Broadbent made him look silly for a couple of rounds, didn't he, before Marku found his range.
And that's sometimes the thing with Edwards, he's boxing really well, and if I was in his corner I'd be saying just keep doing what you're doing. You're winning everything, quite comfortable and within yourself. But that, just sell yourself to that bigger market when he is boxing within himself. Maybe you don't want to take any silly risks, but maybe just do just a little bit more at times.
Well, has he accepted that this is going to be a points victory?
But that's fine. But I think he can let his hands go a little bit more.
Gallardo blundering around, and Edwards almost looking like a matador with the bull.
And enjoying himself as well, because he's making the guy miss quite comfortable, barely taking anything back, and landing at will. But he's enjoying himself. And people who love the artistry of boxing will love it. But people just like a tear up, they won't be a lover of it. So I think he can just do a little bit more every now and again.
As he rises, as he moves up the ranks, who do you reckon's, you wonder what sort of style's going to give Edwards trouble? There's German Ankerhaas, who beat Jamie Conlon. A little way back, he's the IBF champion. This is for an IBF international belt. So presumably it brings him closer to a possible fight there. Kazuko Ioka, the Japanese, is the WBO champion.
He is.
It's going to be someone who can hurt him, someone who can slow him down.
Yeah.
I think that's it. We hurt to the body, or you can make him panic and make him second guess his movement. That's when you get someone like that. And anyone who's a great mover like that, you've got to rush him and make him panic.
There's Ricky Hatton. He used to be able to slow one or two down. Body shots. Not too many people who could throw a better left hook than Ricky.
Or were willing to walk through walls like Ricky was to get the win.
Yeah, anybody who ever saw him fight Costa Zoo in 2005.
Unbelievable.
What a night. What a night.
Seconds out. Round 9.
Master of the one-liner now as well.
Oh, he's funny, isn't he?
He's coming up with some very, very funny lines. A fair few of which you wouldn't be wanting to be putting on national television, but suffice to say, he's a very funny guy. Used to be a mate of Bernard Manning, you know.
Yes.
The old Manchester comedian.
Yes, I heard. Nice right. Left hook, sorry. It's hard to know what stance he's in after half the time here, Edwards, but it was a lovely left hook there.
He switches between southpaw and orthodox just so naturally, doesn't he?
Yeah, you almost...
There's no... You can sometimes with fighters see the cogs turning, can't you?
Yeah, it's a massive change in direction, but he does it. He does it on the move there, like there. When he changes direction, he'll just change to
good
a
shot.
right footer.
Lovely sneak left hand, and right on cue coming out of the southpaw stance.
And again, you said earlier, everything's off the cuff for him. He's a very reactive fighter to the mood or the style he's up against. So even though they go in there with a little bit of a plan set out, it has to be so fluid. Like for every boxer, but his probably more than most, because he thinks on his feet and adapts.
Shouldn't forget Cal Yafai, of course, who's in this division. Right. He's the WBA champion right now.
Doesn't get near enough credit, Yafai.
No, he doesn't. Mexican corner still getting excited, thinking that Gallardo's getting closer. Can't really see it. But
he's been getting closer for a few rounds now, but without actually really overcommitting. I think he needed to quicken his feet up and force the pace. A little bit like this, but a little bit more intensity. And then when he gets close, he's just got to rally and work. And he should have been digging that body from round 1, just to try and slow the legs down.
And you can see, you don't really need Barry and I to tell you that Sonny Edwards still skipping around, fresh as a daisy, not looking significantly different to how he did in rounds 1 and 2. Just one round remaining, and another frustrating 3 minutes for Iram Gallardo.
See what I said when I said side to side? When you get him side to side, change directions, because he's not cutting ring off properly, he's following you about, as soon as he gets there, he jumps in, and that's when he's walking onto them stiff arms. Yeah, thank you. Okay?
And that's the problem he has there, isn't he? When he's walking forward, trying to fire, Edwards comes in those silly angles there, dips low there, the nice lovely hook over the top, or he'll tip the shoulder and hit you with a straight left hand. Catch you coming forward, catch you when he's in. When you're moving back, it's sort of hard to get out of the way of some of the shots.
Some great replays there, showing the essence of Sonny Edwards' success.
10th and last round.
So the last 3 minutes coming up. And it's been another really smooth display of boxing from Sonny Edwards, heading for his 12th straight win. Oh, lovely.
Yeah, lovely. Another soul collected there for Edwards. That's what it really is. 'Cause that's what he does. Just, you know, just with the movement and frustrates you and just almost peppers the fight out of you. Not doesn't beat the fight out. He just taps away.
Would you like to see Sonny Edwards against Jay Harris?
Yeah, almost definitely. Yeah.
European Championship fight?
Of course. What is a European title fight? Why wouldn't you want to fight it? It's a relatively easy fight to make, you with the field. Same with the same management team.
A good fight to watch, wouldn't it?
It's a good fight to watch because Edwards got all the movement, but Harris is, is got fast hands himself. Showed in his last fight that he's willing to walk forward, and how tough and strong he is. And I mean, that's the sort of style that would get Edwards trouble.
Liam Williams moving closer to a big fight if he comes through his victory tonight. They're saying that he's possibly destined for a world title shot in the next 12 months or so.
And we've seen he can sell in Wales as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, Jay Harris and Sonny Edwards on the same bill.
That's right, John.
Risk of sounding like a promoter, it wouldn't look the worst, would it?
I'm going home, it looks like. This is fantastic. But Edwards was still, even though Harris is the champion, Edwards was still, you feel, start the favourite.
Right hand from Gallardo, straying low. Marcus McDonald's not tough to make too many interventions, but did on that occasion. Had a very quiet night. Well, the crowd's a bit subdued.
That's because every round's been the same. That's why. I sort of understand that, but it's Gallardo's change that, because Edwards, everything's working for him. So, from a tactical standpoint, why would you want to change it when everything's working the way you want it to? You're outboxing the guy, making a miss, making him pay every time. He remotely makes a mistake. So it's the guy who's losing the rounds needs to change.
Using the ropes there to get away from the attempted hooks of Gallardo and punishing him as he stepped away.
And that's demoralising for Gallardo, because when he's got him where he wants him, and he does, and he's willing to let his hands go, but the upper body movement there of Edwards just evading almost everything that's coming his way.
Edwards, a real student of the game, good talker.
Nice.
And he's produced another very good display.
And he's certainly clever, isn't he? And fit.
That he is. He's kept moving, kept bouncing around the ring for 10 rounds, barely lost a moment of any of those 10 rounds, and emerges surely as a very, very worthy winner. He knows it, and I think probably more than anybody, Iram Gallardo will know it.
Yeah, and of course, like I said, that's what he does, Edwards. He just, frustrates you with the movement, peppers you with the straight shots, hits you from all sorts of angles, so you're confused and you're not really hurt, but he takes away your will to want to fight almost. Just slowly steals your soul throughout the fight.
Gallardo will be coming away from this probably thinking, well, what on earth was all that about?
Well, it's almost worse than getting beat up when you get totally outboxed, because you get beat up, I've had a go and I've landed with some success, but the guy was just too heavy-handed for me. But when a guy just totally outboxes you, it's the most. I've never had it, but it's just the most frustrating thing. I've been beat up. It's the most frustrating thing, and it's like, and it can take a bit away from you.
Well, Gallardo gave it his best, but it can't possibly have been enough. Thomas Streiber just waiting for the scorecards to be tallied. IBF supervisor just making sure that everything is absolutely spot on. And as ever, a bit of a wait for the fighters. Words of congratulations though for Frank Warren. He knows what the result is, and there's Mum Terry. As I said earlier, she's had her battles with cancer, and Sonny was telling me this week she has good days, she has bad days, but when her sons win and she's there watching, you can see from the smile on her face at the moment it is very much a good day.
Like it is almost every time. Well, only the once really. Let's be honest with Charlie's maybe too early in his career world title shot, but yeah, listen, the boys have been fantastic, and she must be the proudest woman in the room right now.
A very, very good fighter is Sonny Edwards, You maybe don't get too many sensational big barrages of punches for the highlights reel, but you see some real smooth boxing skills.
You're right, but when you slow it down, you can appreciate actually what he does more. Sometimes you slow it down, you see actually they're lovely shots on the move, but when it's in real time, it's so fast and reactive that you don't really appreciate it sometimes. So he could do more sometimes to make it a bit more exciting, but when you're winning everything, you just keep sticking to your plan, and that's what he did, and I thought he boxed really well tonight.
Well, Barry's given him every single round with the knockdown as well in round 2. Let's see if the judges agree, because the fighters, once the glove is pulled off the fist of Iram Gallardo, will be drawn together by Marcus McDonnell, who says, come on, come over anyway, which he does. And so now we can go to Thomas Treiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 10 rounds of boxing, we go to the judges' scorecards, and all 3 judges, Bob Williams, Serge Hendries, and Jerome Ladd, are in agreement. They scored the same, 99-90, all in favor of your winner by unanimous decision. And now the IBF International Super Flyweight Champion, Sonny Showtime Edwards!
Showtime was good to watch for the most part, and Sonny Edwards makes it 12 out of 12, and he continues to pick up those belts and move onwards and upwards.